Friends who follow military developments surely know that news of the 15th China Zhuhai Airshow is being released intensively. On September 25th, the Chinese Air Force and aviation industry simultaneously announced the planned exhibits for the Zhuhai Airshow. According to the Chinese Air Force, at the Zhuhai Airshow, the exhibits of the Chinese Air Force have the following characteristics. First, in terms of static display, the Air Force exhibitors will be divided into four sections: air combat and air strike, unmanned and anti-unmanned operations, strategic delivery and airborne drop, early warning detection and air defense, and anti-missile for equipment display. The exhibited equipment shows significant characteristics of systematization. Second, it will display the new fighter jets developed by the Chinese Air Force in recent years, intuitively presenting long-range strategic delivery and air strike capabilities. At the same time, the naval and army brother forces will also send equipment to participate in the exhibition. At the same time, the aviation industry also officially announced the exhibition plan for this airshow. The aviation industry pointed out that at this airshow, the indoor and outdoor exhibition area of the aviation industry will reach 20,000 square meters, and more than 260 products will be on display. Compared with the previous session, the increase is 1/4, and nearly 30% of the products are exhibited for the first time, especially in terms of static display. The aviation industry will focus on the classic military trade aviation products, commemorating the 45th anniversary of entering the international market. Plan a series of static exhibitions of key military trade aircraft models, and also display the development results of new productive forces such as commercial aerospace and unmanned systems as a result. What new aircraft models will appear at the airshow and what aircraft models will participate in flight performances have become hot topics of lively discussion among military enthusiasts. The press conferences of the Chinese Air Force and aviation industry on September 25th have added a lot of enthusiasm for discussion. After all, judging from the statements of the Air Force and the aviation industry, the Zhuhai Airshow focuses on a new character. The Chinese Air Force will focus on displaying new fighter jets developed in recent years. The aviation industry will display various new productive forces and key export-oriented aircraft models. Moreover, this year, the naval aviation will also participate in the exhibition for the first time. So, how to understand the new character of the Air Force and the aviation industry? What is this key export-oriented aircraft model? What is the strategic delivery and airborne drop that the Air Force wants to display? Immediately, it has triggered intense discussions among military enthusiasts from yesterday to today. I have seen countless extremely optimistic statements. It is believed that the Chinese Air Force proposed in the press conference to display the strategic delivery and airborne drop capability. The second point is easy to understand, which is transport aircraft and the main battle equipment of airborne troops. As for the first point, even I think it may mean that China is going to bring strategic bombers to this year's Zhuhai Airshow for display. As for what kind of strategic bomber it is, what military enthusiasts hope for most is of course water molecule, the H-20. After all, rumors about this model have been circulating for more than 10 years. After so many years of rumors, it can't always be just a lot of noise, but no actual appearance. Even if the real aircraft cannot be shown to us, it would be quite enjoyable for everyone to see a scale model or something as for new fighter jets, developed by the Chinese Air Force in recent years. Everyone also has high expectations. For example, a certain deeply technologically improved version of the J-20 fighter jet, the two-seat improved version of the J-20 fighter jet, and the new generation naval carrier-based fighter jet J-35 and so on. Many people speculate that they will be displayed for the first time at the Zhuhai Airshow. Well, I have had the experience of visiting the Zhuhai Airshow twice. I also have a certain understanding and judgment of the rules of equipment display by the Chinese Air Force and aviation industry at the Zhuhai Airshow. So, what are the basic rules for static exhibitions and equipment displays by the Chinese Air Force and aviation industry at the Zhuhai Airshow? I have simply summarized a few points first. There is almost no possibility of displaying equipment under research. Looking at the display rules of the Zhuhai Airshow over so many years, the probability of equipment that is under research and development and has not yet been technically finalized and equipped to the troops appearing in Zhuhai is almost zero. But there is an exception. That is, the equipment is used for technical verification and may not necessarily be equipped to the troops. For example, the display of the FC-31 fighter prototype at the Zhuhai Airshow and the flight performance of the J-10BOVT at the Zhuhai Airshow are like this. In addition, due to the high confidentiality of equipment under research, it is impossible to appear at the Zhuhai Airshow second. Equipment display shows a gradual state. For a certain new type of equipment, it may only perform flight performances in the previous session, and in the next session, it may be on static display on site. For example, the load of a certain main battle aircraft model may be relatively conservative in the previous session and relatively advanced in this session. The most typical ones are the J-16D and the J-20. The J-16D is said to have made a fleeting appearance at the 2018 Zhuhai Airshow. By the 2021 Zhuhai Airshow, it was officially on static display. The J-20 fighter jet is the most typical example. It went through stages such as just making a circle over Jinwan Airport and then performing flight demonstrations on professional days and the first day of public days. In 2022, it finally landed after completing the flight demonstration at the opening ceremony. However, it did not stop in the static display area, but the parking area for flight demonstrations, attracting a frenzy of photography. For example, the H-6K bomber only carried the KD-20 cruise missile at several Zhuhai Airshows. In 2022, it suddenly changed to carrying a certain air-launched hypersonic vehicle. As for the J-16 and JH-7AII, they previously only carried things like the KD-88. In 2022, they suddenly hung new air-to-surface weapons such as the KAKF-98A and KAKD-88C. It can be seen that although the main battle aircraft models on display have not changed, by hanging new loads on them, it reflects the typical progress in air-to-air or air-to-surface strike capabilities. Third, although it is always said that advanced main battle equipment will be displayed, in fact, the most advanced things are still somewhat withheld. Of course, this is not always the case. For example, in long-range regional air defense missiles, all China can display is the HQ-9BC, which is already the most advanced equipment. But in most cases, the equipment displayed by China is still a bit inferior to the actually equipped, about to be equipped, or equipment under research and development that has entered the later stage. This is also very normal. After all, on the one hand, this display strategy is relatively stable. The equipment research and development speed is not so fast, so that all the highlights of this session will not be fully displayed, leading to no highlights in the next session. On the other hand, it is also for confidentiality. Now that we have summarized these simple rules, it is self-evident what equipment the Chinese Air Force can show everyone at the 15th Zhuhai Airshow in 2024. Don't even think about seeing the water molecule and a certain deeply improved version of the J-20. These are all equipment under research or new equipment that is much more advanced than the active duty equipment and cannot be shown to everyone. Instead, regarding the two-seat version of the J-20, referring to the previous exhibition experience of the FC-31 and the J-10BOVT, as a technology demonstrator, there is still a little possibility of being shown to everyone. But I think the possibility is almost zero after all. when the J-10B OVT was shown to everyone. Its technology verification project was almost coming to an end. After that, this aircraft was retired and put into storage. The flight display at the Zhuhai Airshow can be said to be the final curtain call of this aircraft. And the two-seat improved version of the J-20 is not at that stage at all. This aircraft is highly classified. And compared to the basic version of the J-20, in terms of what we can see, it is not so fancy except for having an additional pilot. So there is no point in displaying it in contrast. I think that this year, the J-20 fighter jet really has a good chance of being on static display. In previous sessions, there were flight performances. In 2022, it made a short stop after landing at the opening ceremony. And a group of spies took a lot of pictures with their long guns and short cannons. According to the principle of gradual progress, there is a good chance that the J-20 fighter jet will debut in the C position of the static display area this year. The improved version of the Y-20 transport aircraft with a new engine may also be on static display or perform flight demonstrations. After all, the Y-20 transport aircraft is also a frequent visitor at the Zhuhai Airshow. For many years, everyone has seen the version with the FWS-18, which is more or less a bit boring, with a big barrel version already everywhere. It is also time to officially unveil it on the platform of the Zhuhai Airshow. The H-6K bomber has been seen by many people. However, the H-6J and H-6N bombers have not been seen by anyone yet. Given the clear existence and ongoing research of the next generation bomber, there is a good chance that these two bombers will be unveiled, especially the H-6N, which is in line with the announcement made by the Chinese Air Force at the press conference that it will display strategic delivery capabilities. But I think it is unlikely that the H-6N will also reveal its strike means. According to the gradual display sequence, it is more likely that the H-6N will carry something similar to the air-launched hypersonic vehicle of the previous session. In addition to the possible static display of these two models, some models may appear with new loadout options. For example, for the J-16 fighter jet, it is worth looking forward to whether it will show everyone the flying telegraph pole. It is also worth looking forward to whether the J-16D and J-10C models will carry some new air-to-surface weapons or even air-to-air missiles. If the H-6KJ participates in the exhibition, it can also be interesting to see if it will carry the YJ-12 anti-ship missile. Of course, compared to the participation of the whole aircraft, the loadout options attract less attention. We can just watch when the time comes compared to the Air Force. The aviation industry this year has practically put the ACE models to be exhibited directly in front of everyone. Since it is mentioned that military trade achievements and key military trade aircraft models will be displayed, then the J-10CP of the Pakistani Air Force may participate. Most importantly, the latest technical state of the FC-31 will definitely appear. After all, it is China's next-generation main export-oriented aircraft model, so a major highlight of this year's Zhuhai Airshow should be the latest improved version of the FC-31, plus the static display of the J-20. The appearance of models such as the H-6N and Y-20B. At this year's airshow, there will definitely be plenty of highlights. Just the fact that the fifth-generation fighter jets participate at the same time is something that few airshows in the world can achieve. In fact, I am more looking forward to what type of aircraft the Chinese naval aviation will send to participate. Logically speaking, the most likely aircraft sent by naval aviation is the J-15. However, judging from the recent frequent appearances of the J-11B HG of naval aviation, it is not excluded that naval aviation will send this type of aircraft to participate, or simply send one of each of the two types. In any case, what will be sent must be a member of the flanker family. That is to say, at this year's Zhuhai Airshow, we will be able to see the J-16, J-16D, J-15 or J-11B HG of the Chinese Air Force, as well as the Su-35S of the Russian Aerospace Forces, for Tu-5 flanker models competing on the same stage. This may be an unprecedented flanker feast, even at Russia's own Airshow S. This kind of grand occasion may not be seen in general. This year's Zhuhai Airshow will definitely be extremely wonderful. Let's quietly look forward to its arrival.